So, you've finally decided to take the plunge. You've cleared the perfect spot in your living room, you've been staring at empty glass boxes online for weeks, and you are, at long last, ready to start an aquarium. But wait, the very first question you hit is often the most paralyzing one. Saltwater or freshwater? It's a literal fork in the road that leaves so many beginners feeling totally overwhelmed before they even buy a single drop of water.
Well, let's dive right into it. Welcome to today's Explainer, where we're going to completely demystify both of these paths. We'll be pulling direct insights from a fantastic guide over at Saltwater Reef Co., appropriately titled Saltwater versus Freshwater, a Beginner Comparison. Our whole goal today is to cut through the noise and help you figure out exactly which ecosystem makes the most sense for your lifestyle, your budget, and, let's be honest, your patience level. Here is our roadmap for today. We'll quickly cover the beginner's dilemma, gear and setup, mastering water chemistry, comparing the costs, choosing your livestock, and then wrap it up with the final verdict.
All right, kicking things off with Section 1, the beginner's dilemma.
So, the core compromise of fish keeping really boils down to this. Freshwater is generally your easier entry point. It just offers a much smoother learning curve for beginners. But on the flip side, saltwater absolutely repays your extra effort by rewarding you with a significantly broader, way more vibrant variety of marine life. It kind of comes down to what you value more right out of the gate, an easier initial learning phase or instant access to that incredibly diverse marine ecosystem.
Moving right along to Section 2, gear and setup.
To get a standard freshwater tank running, you essentially just need the classics. We're talking standard filtration, a heater if you're doing a tropical setup, maybe a light if you decide to keep some live plants, and your basic water testing supplies. You know, it's a highly reliable plug-and-play equipment stack that gets you up and running without requiring an engineering degree.
Now for a saltwater tank, you start with literally everything we just mentioned, and then you stack some pretty demanding new gear right on top of it. You're going to need a reliable protein skimmer, which actually physically filters dissolved organic waste right out of the water before it can even break down, plus an accurate salinity measurement tool and buckets for your careful salt mixing. As you can see, saltwater doesn't replace freshwater gear, it literally multiplies it.
Okay, let's look at Section 3, Mastering Water Chemistry.
With a freshwater aquarium, your main job is managing the nitrogen cycle. Essentially, you're making sure invisible fish waste like ammonia doesn't build up and become toxic. It is absolutely vital, but the chemistry is usually pretty forgiving. Saltwater chemistry, well, that is a much stricter master. You manage those exact same basic nutrients, plus you have to maintain exact salinity and keep several additional parameters perfectly stable. There is, quite simply, just way less room for error.
And speaking of the beginning, both of these tanks require cycling. If you're not familiar, this is the absolutely crucial initial waiting period, where your aquarium establishes stable conditions and grows beneficial bacteria well before you add any livestock. Actually, let me be clear here. Skip the cycle and your tank will fail. For sure, whether it's salty or sweet.
Next up is Section 4, Comparing the Costs.
The financial realities here are pretty stark. Saltwater systems almost always cost significantly more upfront. Why? Well, it's because of that specialized gear we mentioned, like the protein skimmers, plus the ongoing cost of high-grade salt mixes to constantly fine-tune your water quality. Freshwater, on the other hand, is generally the cheaper option, especially for simple, plant-friendly setups.
But hang on, cheaper comes with a massive asterisk. Freshwater is not automatically a budget-friendly free-for-all. As Saltwater Reef Co. rightly points out, if you go out and buy massive custom-sized tanks or start chasing rare, exotic species like freshwater stingrays, well, your budget is going to skyrocket. The total cost depends entirely on your ambition.
Now for the really fun part. Section 5, choosing your livestock. Freshwater beginners usually start with incredibly hardy community fish. Think guppies or tetras, which tolerate a much wider range of water conditions. They're super forgiving. Saltwater livestock, like your classic clownfish or delicate corals, are notoriously sensitive to even minor fluctuations. Because of this, a lot of new saltwater hobbyists actually start soft. They begin with hardy marine invertebrates while they learn the ropes of keeping that water perfectly stable.
Regardless of what you pick, the golden rule applies. A slow, steady stocking approach reduces stress on the animals and makes troubleshooting infinitely easier for you. Patience is the absolute key to a healthy ecosystem. Avoid the temptation to just rush out and fill your tank with fish before the environment is fully established.
Bringing it all together in Section 6, the final verdict.
So if you want lower complexity, an easier path to consistent results, and generally lower costs while keeping hardy animals, the freshwater path is definitely calling your name. But if you are deeply passionate about marine life and you are fully willing to commit to a demanding routine of testing, strict stability, and higher costs, that saltwater reef is going to be endlessly rewarding.
But the really beautiful thing Saltwater Reef Co. reminds us of is this. Whichever direction you choose, your success hinges on 4 fundamental rules. Number 1, proper cycling. 2, consistent temperature. 3, dependable filtration. And 4, regular water testing. Master these absolute basics, and you are going to thrive.
So, what's it going to be? Which path will you choose for your aquarium journey? Will you master the forgiving, lush green world of a freshwater planted river? Or will you dedicate yourself to the vibrant, exacting realm of an indoor ocean reef? Remember, you aren't just buying a pet here, you are becoming the architect of a tiny, enclosed universe. That glass box is waiting. So, what will you put inside?